Hey guys, Kyle, the Death Knight of Anime here, bringing you my review for My Hero Academia Season 4, Episode 23. So, so before I get into the actual episode itself, I do need to address the pacing adaptation because this pretty much was a conversation I got into a little bit in my last in my last review about with someone in the last review about how there's pretty much two episodes left. So how are they going to handle the how are they going to handle what are they going to do for for the last two episodes? And before and honestly, because as we know, because the thing is, as we know, this episode pretty much finishes off the school festival arc. But again, what I did after that, after I watched the episode, is I checked, and yeah, supposedly we're going straight through and going into the pro hero arc with these last two episodes. And here's the thing. I recently read through a lot of the Pro Hero arc, and the one thing that kind of stuck out to me about it, rereading it and just kind of getting reacquainted with it, is there's basically a lot about the arc itself that would be fairly easy to adapt more than pretty much more than three chapters worth of content into a single episode. And just knowing how fast paced every single moment in that arc is, and just knowing that, I think I know how they'll cap off this season, but at the same time, even basically knowing where they're going to end it, even that to me is a little bit of a gamble on Bones' part. Um, even if the arc is still short, it's still a very hefty arc itself. But knowing that, I think I think what Bones is going to do is they're going to end this upcoming from two episode arc with a couple pages shy of chapter 90, which for those who haven't read the manga know is pretty much the penultimate point of Endeavor's biggest moment in the series. And it would make sense to end it there, especially since the new opening we've gotten does kind of tease us to that moment a little bit at the end. So yeah, I think so. Yeah, it took a while, but it took a while and a bit of a bit of a read through of the Pro Hero arc. But yeah, I think that's what Bones is doing is they're gonna probably adapt let's see, 4, 5, 6. So probably three. They're probably gonna adapt from three around three chapters next episode, and four chapters worth of content in the final episode. I think that's what's going to happen here, or maybe vice versa. I don't know. But yeah, I think that's kind of what's going to happen is that it's probably gonna carry all the way over to chapter 190. That much I think I do know for sure. Um, but Now, okay. So with all that being said, and me going extensively over where this season's gonna end, um, we got to talk about Gentle and Izuku because those final moments with them is the perfect way to cap off those final moments of them looking at each other pretty much sharing glances and just one final conversation with each other. That is the perfect way to cap off their conflict with each other. And Izuku just pretty much said it best. It was just a dispute, one that was so heated and driven by their beliefs that it was truly in those final moments that in these final moments where they both where they did where moments that did they both realize that only or not only were they basically fighting for the same thing and hold the exact same beliefs, but they also realized how many similarities that they pretty much share as just people. Just they came to they were just two people who had a disagreement over their ideals and and what it wasn't so much about hero and villain. It was just two people who had a disagreement over their ideals with this thing. It's kind of in some ways you could say it's the equivalent of having a political debate or something like that. Um, and but of course in this case with the only difference being that like brand of being hero and villain. And yet, ironically, despite Gentle being branded as a troublemaker and a villain, so to speak, in the end, he was the one to make the heroic sacrifice to save the people he cared for the most. And now I will admit, the way the anime executed this compared to the manga will, in large part, depend on your preference, because the anime did cut out a good majority of, if not all, the inner monologue that was meant to reinforce this point. But at the same time, for me personally, I think the silence of the moment is even more powerful in the sense of showing Izuku from just kind of subtly soaking in the regret that this whole thing between him and Gentle and La Brava just could have gone a lot more could have gone a different way for basically both of them, and how because of this encounter, Izuku now has in some ways a greater understanding of what Stain was talking about. Because with Gentle, like he's with Izuku, he's looking back on this fight. When he's just silently looking back on everything that happened during this fight, and he's basically saying to himself that Gentle is my mirror image. He's the one I could have become had he's the one I could have become had I not met All Might and given the chance to in order to achieve my dream. Like it's basically because it's weird to say, but basically because of All Might, because of meeting that one moment of meeting All Might, it basically prevented Izuku from possibly going down the pretty much same route that pretty much Gentle did. And so in that sense, it's basically just pretty much two people of the same ideals and beliefs in some way that just had a disagreement about how to carry it out, which in some ways is basically what this whole thing has been what this whole thing of like heroes and villains, I think in many respects, has just been about. There's just been one giant disagreement after another about how the world should function. And granted, in some ways, a lot of them have been a little more radical than others, but still. Now, let's talk about the big Class 1A band performance. And yeah, to me, when it came to that whole big spectacle of a band performance, they not only outdid the manga with that one huge moment just on art and animation alone, but I think they may have also added a few extra sequences and pieces into that as well. Like I think they actually expanded on that on that whole like on UA on class 1A's whole band performance. So that in itself, it just made it all better. And like I said, just music, just everything about it, music, voice acting, just voice singing, voice acting, whatever, like everything about it. It just I could feel a beat. I could feel my heart beating in my chest as I was watching that. Like I got so freaking hyped just watching that like appear on screen. It was perfect. Everything that they did, it just made it even more hype and bombastic for me. And yeah, like I said, it got my heart pumping. This moment in itself, I think, encapsulates what I was pretty much kind of what I was talking about before, and how largely, even though Izuku still went through his own development in this arc, it all largely pretty much ties back to Jiro and her own journey of learning that yes, she wants to be a hero, but that doesn't mean she has to abandon her passions to do it. If anything, her passion is part of what makes her a hero. For lack of a better term, this moment right here of her singing on stage, her playing with her classmates in this band. It's her plus ultra moment where Jiro realized that music is her path of a hero. It's what will allow her to connect with the people in the future. And on that note, like, don't get me wrong, I love all the parents in Hero Academia, but can we give Jiro's rents a most supportive parents award. Like, I'm just saying, like Jiro's rants are just amazingly supportive. It's kind of incredible, really. Like, and that whole montage with them, that just it tugged at the heartstrings a bit. Okay, I got no problem in saying it. It tugged at my heartstrings a bit. Yeah, I don't get emotional often watching anime and manga, but this is one of those times where I definitely got emotional. I didn't cry, but I was close to it. Um, and yeah, the moment where we see everyone's collective effort to bring this concert together and the optimism of the crowd, and seeing that all collectively finally break Eri out of her darkness, and seeing her smile at long last, that is like that is the one moment. That is the one moment to actually prove that even that in the end, even if they were on opposite sides, both Izuku and Gentle ended up saving like pretty much someone that they cared about, even if it was under different circumstances. Now, I will admit, beyond this point, Eri becomes a character that the series seems to have trouble finding a place for. I mean, I assume Horikoshi has a plan for her, but for now, it was just. But yeah, it's kind of a difficult thing with her going forward. But for now, it was just wholesome, like to see Eri like pretty much finally overcome her fears, her fears, her insecurities, and see her opening up and act like a normal girl again. So yeah, in that sense, it was really good. It was a really nice, wholesome moment in order to see Eri like finally just smile and be a kid again. But yeah, guys, that's all I got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and listen to Crunchyroll. That Night of Anime, signing off. Later, guys.